I have the most gorgeous, loving, beautiful wife ever. And I don't know, there's a lot of people that are beautiful too. And we, I have the best love, the best sex, the best kids with my wife and everything. And I'm just wondering what is there ever an exception to beautiful monogamy? Can we go outside of that?
We would like to take the subject of monogamy into a broader definition, because at the heart of this conversation is something that all of you feel from time to time. And we're not just talking about sexual partners, we're talking about the partners that you're spending the majority of your time with. We're talking about the expansion of you and the unlikelihood that you will ever interact with another who is wanting identical things or expanding identically to you. And so what an adventure like all of this provides, especially when you are looking back into history and you are exploring so many wonderful different places that are new to you, that are stimulating different thoughts within you. There is a feeling of exhilaration that comes with the newness, that comes with the adventure. And we think that's what's causing that to activate within you. It's really a nice thing when you gather around you a lot of people who are at their core similar to that which you are. In other words, this gathering is combined primarily of those who accept that they create their own reality. They're not, for the most part, wanting to give anyone else the blame or the credit for what's coming. But in this particular forum, as we've been playing together, one of the things that we think is unique among you is that you are out there on the leading edge of those who are willing to focus. And you're beginning to discover the leverage of your own focus. And you begin to discover, as you begin focusing and you begin to allow your own momentum to build, that then others who have similar momentums come from all kinds of different places. They are very different in many of the aspects of their life experience. They have different orientations in all regards. And so it's a nice experience to sort of come out of your shell or out of your cave or out of your guarded place where you are trying to protect yourself from differences, where you can begin to enjoy the differences and receive the benefits of that larger buffet. Whenever anyone wants to talk about monogamy and they want to turn it to that sexual conversation, we want to say that you can have it however you want to have it, and you can change your mind if you want to. But the thing that is most important is that you be aligned with you relative to the subject. There are a lot of people who you start out with and you have an agreement, or at least you think you have an agreement. And as life causes you to put more into your vortex, and as you find more alignment with who you are, you feel inspired to different behaviors. There are many of you who are standing back, sort of aghast, saying to each other, but wait, I counted on you to be this way. You should not be that way, because I counted on you being this way. And we say the problem with that is counting on anyone to be any way, because everyone is always changing. And it is the thing that is fundamentally at odds with almost everyone in almost every relationship. And what is at the core of it is most humans say, here I stand, incomplete in my awareness of myself. And rather than being aware of their relationship with the source within them, with the expanded vibrational version of them, they get fixated on some other or some others, looking for feedback from them. So you base, most of you, your entire behavioral life experience on the responses that you're getting from others. You learn to behave in ways that are pleasing to others. Even the littlest ones around you are doing that. So, and it's tricky too, because when you are very, very young, you do not have so many people around you. Once you move out into the world and you begin going to school or interacting with your peers, there are many more who are wanting different things from you. And so many people, relatively early in life, begin to lose their way. Even in this conversation, you are sort of looking for our opinion about it. And we're wanting to say to you, we would like our opinion, we would like everyone's opinion about everything to be irrelevant. We would like your opinion, your personal opinion, to be formulated by the mixture of what you have been putting into your vortex. And we promise you that if you're reaching for feelings that feel good, if you're reaching for thoughts that feel good when you are thinking them, and then you are allowing those thoughts to gain momentum until you are inspired to behavior and action that feels good while you're offering it, so that you remain in sync with the whole of who you are, then it would not be possible for you to be disappointing to others, because the momentum that you would have gathered by your seeking the relationship to the source within you would cause there to be such momentum, such influence around you, that those that you are giving your attention to, especially those primary people that you are giving your attention to, would come with you or would spin off from you. In other words, so we know what the dilemma is. The dilemma is what most people are feeling. I don't want to be so uniquely who I am that I sever the relationships with the others that I care about. And we say, but if you are not allowing yourself to be uniquely who you are so that you're solid in your vibrational pattern, then you're having a sort of rough ride with everyone anyway, you see. And most of you have not given yourself the opportunity to tune to the frequency of who you really are and feel the fulfillment of all of that. Almost always when we have a conversation like this of someone who is feeling a little disconnect, maybe from some sameness or from some boredom, looking for some adventure or some variety, almost without exception, if we are able to influence them through our knowing of aligning with who they are, in the majority of cases, once they come into alignment, they do not look outside of the relationships that they've already established for these wonderful things that they want, because the relationships that you've already gathered around you are so full of the things that are in your vortex already. But it's a rare one who does not offer some attitude of lack about just about everything.
Where I was at earlier, like at the start of the cruises, there's so many beautiful people that it's hard not to notice them and be attracted to them. And even if my wife is like so beautiful and has such a great body and very good looking and a great mind and all that.
How many rainbows are you allowed in this lifetime? How many beautiful flowers do you allow yourself? Do you have a quota? Or are you saying that the flowers are not jealous of one another, so you are allowed to feast your eyes upon as many beautiful things as long as they're not jealous as possible? Exactly. So the rainbows aren't in competition for your alignment. It's just your partners who are in competition, and we say, look around and let them figure out how to be aligned without your compliance. Because if you are complying to keep them whole, it's not your looking around that causes your relationship to be in trouble. It's your bondage.
It actually came full circle, because as I got more in alignment, I didn't have the need for that as much anymore. And my wife and I had the best cruise ever. And it's just, it's
what you're looking for. But the thing is, there's so much wonderful co-creating. To ask anyone, to say to anyone, I'm an expansive being, and these are things that right now are active and exciting within my vibrational arena. And because they're active and exciting for me, I need you to get up to speed so that you can be my equivalent counterpart on all things. And we say, do you make your spouses go to school and learn the same discipline that you learned? If you are an architect, does she need to be too? If you are a trapeze artist, does he need to be too? In other words, or do you allow some latitude? Do you allow differences? And what you begin to discover is that in your differences, you make one another whole. Just don't ask any one other person to make you whole. They'll never be able to do it, and it will make you think you need to look around. But if you are not demanding the allness from that one whom you will never find it from, and you're able to feast your eyes on all subjects and your ears on all subjects. You're able to reach out into the vastness of this magnificent palette that is your time-space reality, so that you are satisfying yourself. Oh, then it is so satisfying to spend time with that special one who you're not driving crazy with your demands, you see.
Right.
Good.
Okay. My parents are not extremely close to my family. It's been something that ever since I grew up and I married my wife and we had kids together, everything has been great for us. And I haven't had a real closeness to my parents. What does that entail for afterlife and things like that? It's just something that we've never been. It's been something we've tried to put the energy towards.
Well, you see, before you came into this physical body, and once you emerge back into non-physical, your relationships are healthy and whole, because you are understanding that you were never meant to be the all that is for each of you. In other words, your parents are the avenue that allow you excursion into this physical time-space reality. But most parenting becomes really absurd as you are wanting to do all of the thinking and all of the planning for your offspring, you see. And so when you reemerge into non-physical, you'll meet up with them and you'll be back on that healthy footing, and they'll acknowledge the perfection that is you, but they'll be right back where they were to begin with. They won't be taking responsibility for anything that you're feeling. They won't be taking responsibility for whatever you have accomplished. Everyone will be reveling in all of that. Are you kind of following this a little bit? In other words, most parenting, we love you so much, most parenting is not based on non-physical knowledge. Most parenting is not based on that high-flying disc. Most parents are not looking at their offspring and expecting wonderful things to come to them without quite a lot of guidance. Most parents really believe that they have had their hard knocks and that they have been paving out their path, and now they want to teach their children how to pave out a path. And the children are not having any of that. Have you noticed? They want to carve out their own path, you see. And so it's really a logical thing for all of you to come forth. Whether you're talking about a spouse, or whether you're talking about children, or whether you're talking about parents, this subject is all the same. You've come forth to revel with a variety of relationships, because in your combining together, you become more. But you have never, not one of you, not ever, planned on coming forth and being dependent on anyone for your alignment, for your wholeness, you see. And so that's the thing that is a little tricky in all of these human relationships and in all of the study that humans are doing about human relationships. You're missing this primary basis. There is a flawed premise that most are proceeding from, and that flawed premise says, I want to feel good, and as I look out into the world, different people cause me to feel different ways, and so especially those up close to me, I need some measure of control over them. And if I have some measure of control over them, then I can trust my gaze will feed back to me something that feels good. But the thing that goes wrong with that is that every single one of you feels exactly the same way. You're all seeking your freedom. Sometimes those of you who are the most compliant are actually the perpetuators of the most dysfunction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that.
Because in your effort to make everything good for this one and this one and this one and this one and this one, if you spend a lot of time with them, they never have any reason to find out about their own vibration. They never have any reason to discover the deliciousness of momentum. They never have any reason to focus their own mind into clarity and into power and into autonomy. You see, go forth and give everyone a hard time and teach them self-sufficiency. Mm-hmm. That's what your children said coming in. I'm going to give them a real run for their money. If they're going to stay tuned in, they're going to have to do it because they understand what true alignment is. Because I am going to find and discover and display and live and revel in my personal freedom.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Really good. Mm-hmm. Good.
Thank you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now what?